Sorry for the noise, but it's now the October update for 12/25, and you can see he's up there grinding away on the boiler, about ready to fit the stay bolts into those holes there for the crown sheet, at least the back half. The back head has been painted, as you see, finally, because it's finally been finished. They finally got the caps on the bolts there. Now it's really come together. We even got the studs in for the doors on the firebox door. And actually, I can show you that right now. Here's some of the tubes. Again, here's the old tube sheet. And looking closely, I don't think I've ever shown you. Sorry, I didn't. But you can see the remnants of the old tubes inside there, and how a lot of them had to be cut out. That's pretty much how you just get them out of there. Usually the pieces just fall out, but some are stuck inside. So if this were to be reused, it would have had to have been, each hole would have had to have been cleaned out with some sort of tool to dig them out of there. And anyway, under this here is the primered firebox door ring. You can see here, that's all primered, and now it just needs to be painted black. This just primer to keep the rust off for now. You can see here's the studs that'll keep it in place. And the device that opens the door automatically would go in here. It's kind of like a piston that shoves the door open, and then a little hook causes it to fall back. The doors themselves are not in here. They're laying around somewhere else, but anyway, there's some more cut pieces. We've just been moving those around. They're waiting to see if we need to cut out anything more for the engine. And the surprise is, over here, the 75 is now here. Once again, the 1225 is stable mates with a little tank engine. 75 is going to be stored up here by the Gremlins for the winter. And as part of the agreement, we'll be running some weekend trips. Some little 1 hour trips, one way, and then it backs it the other way. I think the first trip will be October 27th. And it'll be ready for that time. It just got done with some trips down south. And it's pretty much ready to go. They capped the stack and removed the whistle, which is actually on the other side, but I'm sure you know what I mean. I'll do an overview on it in a few minutes here, but over here Kevin is test fitting the new washout plugs. See, here's one already put in, test fitted. They were reaming them yesterday. These are actual washout plugs, they're not giant bathtub plugs like we had before. Will eventually be painted black. You can see just the size of those door studs on there, how big they are. We're going to look up in here, try to see where he's grinding away in there. And the new back tube sheet has been fitted in. It'll be completely in there hopefully next week when we get the last part of the crown sheet in. They test fitted the tubes last week and they fit fine, so that's why some of them you saw were unbundled. So that will be permanently in place here pretty soon. He's grinding off the holes for the staples on this part, so though the last ones can be fitted in there, you can't barely see them just through the holes that he's grinding. And yeah, we finally got to where we're doing the holes here on the last part of the crown sheet. And like I said, that should be done later this next week so we can get it in there. So a lot to do in the next just a few days just on this. Actually, all these holes were done within the last couple of days, so they've been doing pretty good. So give it another 4 days and all these holes should be drilled. I'm not sure if he's going to do these holes up the side here just so they can be sure that it fits in right. Hey, I kind of messed up on the measurements for the holes down there, and so they're not those have been marked off so that they have to be redone. So, but it's coming along. You got up here. If you've been watching Facebook, you saw the videos that John posted, John Grabowski, of him doing the studs for the whistle, and now the valve is back up there in place, and it's ready to go. It needs the chimes on it, which is the part that you actually hear where the steam comes out. That's just the valve. I'll get up there and show you it. Coming up here on the front end, you see, I left the light on here for you. You can see the front tube sheet is being worked on. You see the shiny part there is where they've grinded so far. They're trying to get as much of the old indentations from the old tubes out as possible. See a little bit here, just a little bit left. This little groove here, similar to what I was doing on the outside of the boiler this winter with the stable poles, kind of like what he's doing now. See, you can see the prominent groove here, indentation left by the old pipes. None of the old tubes is in here anymore. They were pretty well cleaned out, this one, so especially since it had to be reused. So as they're doing this, once they get this last part in here sandblasted, I can come in here and clean up all this mess that's on the floor. Ethan's going to post some pictures to Facebook as to what that looks like. Coming out here, they're also going to be constructing the new table to go across the front end here. And so that's going to be a couple months away as we're finishing getting it back together and ready for the steam test. It won't be long, but there's a lot of work to do. Okay, so yeah. Fine here. Show you a better look here. See, he's got this all black painted on here, and he just finished up some more on the other side the other day. Now the entire smoke box portion on the top is done. And, well, except for this piece here. But he even did the smokestack. And he's trying to get the front of the feed wire here on the top. See, he's already painted there too. All this dust is just from the past couple of weeks from when I showed you the outside when they were sandblasted. If you look down here, here's the whistle valve, and basically, yeah, we had to mark it off just in case, but it's pretty obvious what it is. It's a Nathan steam valve, and this is the part where the chime goes on. It's a Lima 5 chime whistle, so it's a pretty nice sounding whistle. I'm sure you've all heard it on YouTube, and it works pretty well. We actually found this part. This is a cover, and then here's the opening valve that would shut it off if you need to. This is the extension part. This is like for a whistle cord they put on here. Originally, when it was built, it did not have a cord. It just had the air tube that blew it. So you push the button in, and the air flowed through, and this would actually connect to the bottom of this and blow it. And open the valve to blow the whistle, and that's basically how the whistle button works. Whereas the cord just pulls the valve onto this button down here, or actually, it's this button here. This is a test valve that you'd use to pull it when you're up here, just to make sure you know how it sounds. But other than that, you can see how he's grinding down there. He's got to finish up with the top ones there, and then they'd be able to test fit those. But basically, that's how much is coming together. The whistle's on here. We're going to start plugging up the holes. It's got to get covered inside so that when we do the last sandblasting, it doesn't get into the valve. had to cover that. Here's an interesting little view for you. You can actually see the light coming in pretty brightly through the opening in the superheaters. Usually never get to see that unless there's a spotlight in there. This is the cover for the smokestack, so okay. Do a quick view on the other side here. He got quiet. Yeah, on this side you can see where he just painted this past week and finished off a smoke box. I don't think we're gonna paint inside here on the rim. It's just primer to keep the rust off, which was my main intent, trying to keep it clean. But you get the point of that, you know, you don't want to be having to clean it off again and again and again. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens next few weeks here. Our plan is hopefully by next month to be putting some tubes in. See the stack unraveled there that you saw earlier in the video. Part of the testing to put 3 or 4 tubes in. I don't know how many they test fitted, but they're different sizes. Yeah, so here's the extent of how far he painted, and we're gonna be working our way that way on the top, and then once that's done, get on the bottom all the way to where they're finishing up down there. So pretty much the opposite of what we did with the primer. So that's basically the extent of it. Well, for this month, I'll probably get another update video as the weeks go on. Probably the next couple weeks, just to show the difference. Okay. With that said, that's it for now.